What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video, and make sure you leave a comment. You know, a lot of people are like, man, what's up? You gonna keep doing interviews? So I figure we better make the next interview a good one. I'm bringing this brother on, Spider. He spent a bunch of his life in prison in Oregon on the West Coast, kind of some West Coast politics. We'll talk about some gang stuff and about the things that he's doing with his life now. Spider, tell the people who you are, tell them where you're from, and talk a little bit about you, man.
All right, my name's Spider. I've done approximately 23 years in prison. I'm from AF, my Aryan family. I've done most of my time in Oregon, but I've done a lot of time in Washington. I did California Youth Authority. I went into California Youth Authority when I was 16. I got out on my 21st birthday. I went to Nevada. I was in a prison called Ely Supermax, and that place was off the chain. It was fucking crazy. And then when I got out of Ely, I went and fucked up, and I ended up going to prison in Oregon for 10 years. I did about 10 years there, and then I did about, 6 or 7 years in Washington. So it all adds up to 23 years and stuff like that.
Let's talk a little bit about that youth authority in California, man. Did you grow up in California?
Yeah, I was born and raised in San Jose.
From San Jose. What landed you in the youth authority at 16, bro?
Strong arm robbery. I knocked someone out and took his baseball hat and shit when I was a kid. Got a strong arm robbery, went to youth authority, maxed out my sentence. I went in there with just 18 months, but I caught a DA case for sticking somebody, and I ended up catching 2 years for that, and I ended up maxing my prison sentence out. I got out on my 21st birthday.
I want to talk a little bit about that because you said you knocked this guy out for his hat. So you knocked this cat out for his hat, right? It's a robbery charge over something petty. You got 18 months, but you end up getting jammed up over there. What were you thinking, man, at 16? Like, I'm going to knock this kid out and take his hat. What was going through your mind?
I just thought I was hard and shit, and that's kind of in the neighborhood that I was in. That was kind of what we were doing, is just going to rival little neighborhoods where other little gangbangers were, and we were just taking hats and starter jackets and shit. This was in like 92 and stuff. That's when like starters and all that was real popular, and that was our thing, is just taking hats and starters. So that's how I ended up catching my case.
Definitely wasn't worth 5 years of your life, was it?
Not at all. And the world that I was introduced to was a completely crazy world, bro. Like, CYA is no joke. It's harder than any state penitentiary I've ever been in. Like, it's no joke. It's crazy up in there.
Let's talk about that a little bit. But first, I want to talk about your upbringing, right? Because you're out there, you're in San Jose, you're in Cali. Does your mom raise you? Your father? Were they married?
So my parents divorced when I was about 11 years old, and I went to live with my dad. I went into a black ghetto called Columbia Villa in North Portland, and it was very, very rough. And I just put some boxing gloves on. I was boxing kids all the time, earned my respect around the neighborhood. So people started respecting me around there. And when I was about 14, 15, I stole a car, drove it to San Jose, California to live with my mom. I had a lot of freedom my mom gave me a lot of freedom and a lot of room, and I kind of screwed it up by hitting the streets and running amok. And that's kind of where my mentality was already on that North Portland stuff. So when I got to California and got there, I was kind of above everybody because I had that mentality already set in my mind. So, I was running and gunning from age 15 on. So,
were you a gang member at the age of 15? Who'd you run with?
I really wasn't a gang member, but I was running with this little white gang called Seven Deuce. And we were just kind of like a bunch of white boys that had to get tough, because we lived in that ghetto. So I was running with those guys, and I went to California. And then when I went to California Youth Authority, that's when I was made aware that I was white and that I should be running with the whites. And immediately they pulled me up, and that's who I started running with.
So it's racially segregated in the youth authority over there too?
All the way, bro. They got all their politics from prison so here's how it works. In CYA, they got these things called M numbers. That is people who have stabbed somebody in CYA. If you stab somebody in CYA bad enough, you catch a case, you go to the penitentiary like Tracy, Chino. Those are for the younger people. You go there, you do your 2 years, whatever you catch, and then you go back to CYA. So we had all our politics from state prison in CYA already. So that's where we get our politics. So yeah, it was a state-run yard, but it was already politics like crazy in there.
So in the California Youth Authority, do they got NLR dudes, Nazi lowriders? They got ABs, Bloods, Crips. Who do they got there?
They got Nazi lowriders, then, and that's it for like organized white boy gangs. But they have like Sureños and Norteños from like straight from LA, bro. They already got the whip mustaches, the bandanas on, the 20-inch arms. They're only 18 years old, bro. And they're fucking, it was like mandatory politics that you need to have 20-inch arms already and shit when you're like 18. But like, yeah, it was nuts, bro. CYA was vicious.
You said you ended up sticking someone over there. What was that for?
Yeah. Okay, so I got stabbed by this dude. Okay, I stuck him because he stuck me. So what happened was there was a white creep that hit the yard, and they told me that the younger OGs told me I need to get on his ass. So okay, I'll tell you something that's pretty crazy. The lieutenants and the sergeants from the unit, they let you fist fight and you don't get in trouble. You don't get a write-up as long as you walk and program with them one time, right? So they told me, okay, so a white creep hit the yard and they fucking told me I got to walk with him one time. And then after that, I can fight him after, and we don't get maced and we don't get in trouble. So we come out to program. And the first row is the white boy row. The second row is the Sureño row. The next row is the blacks row. And the next row is the Norteño row. Well, you're not supposed to, when they made us walk a program together, you're not supposed to be looking back at them because that's a sign of weakness if you're like scary. They look at that like scary. So I couldn't look back. I'm sitting in the front row just thinking, man, this motherfucker better not move on me. Well, he does. He comes through the aisles and he comes from around me. He sticks me like 5 times in the stomach. And I think this fool's punching me, though. It doesn't feel like anything. Well, he wasn't. He was sticking me. So I turned around, and on the first punch, I didn't even know I had it in me at 18 years old, but fucking boom, I caught him right in the mouth, knocked him completely out. He landed in a pool of his own blood with the shank, and I got on his dome. Boom, I pieced him up. Like, I stitched him up. He had like 25 stitches on his face, and that was the first time I knew I was seriously like tough and gangster. But
let me stop you for a second, Spider, because some people are going to watch this video, and they're like, come on, man. You hit the dude, he immediately had blood, 25 stitches.
Yeah.
So people are gonna be like, man, we gotta check his paperwork, man. They want to see the paperwork, big dog.
No, not at all, bro. That was the first time I realized that that was the first time I ever knocked somebody out. I was a big youngster though. I was big and I was tough, and I had been fighting all my life on the streets. And yeah, I ain't gonna lie, it was probably luck. I knocked him out on the first fucking punch, brother. That's my word, and that's my skin. And when I did, I didn't feel like I needed to stop because he fucking stuck me. So I was just piecing him up right in his face. Bam, bam, bam. I did not know I was stuck. When they cuffed us up, they were taking us to the units, and I had a white t-shirt on. We could come out in his white boxers and white t-shirts. Well, when they were taking me up, all these little blood holes started popping up on my shirt. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm stuck? So that's when I found out I was stuck. I didn't even know I was stuck, bro. And anyways, later down the road, I ended up at another facility with this fool. This fool landed on a fucking yard that I was on, and that's when I stuck him. And I stuck him with a piece of I cut a piece of metal out of my locker with toenail clippers, sliced the line over and over until it fucking made shavings, and it came out of there. I stuck him with that. And I almost caught a DA case, but the DA never prosecuted me on it. But I ended up doing my last year and a half in this lockdown unit, and I paroled out of there. My last day on my 21st birthday, I paroled out of that unit for sticking that fool.
So you spent some of the best years of your life in a jail because you hit some kid, knocked him out, took his hat. You go into this prison. It's absolutely crazy and wild. The kid stabs you. Eventually you stab him, but you do the whole 5 years. You walk out of this place at 21 years old. What's going on in your mind at 21? Are you thinking, man, I want to get my life together. I want to get a job. I don't want to ever be back in prison. What are you thinking that first day you walk out of there?
Well, so when I walk out of there, I'm super nervous about being on the streets. I just felt uncomfortable, out of place, I didn't feel like I was in the right world anymore because my whole mentality was on this gang prison stuff. So like, I didn't make it long. I made it like maybe 3 to 5 months, and I was back in prison in Nevada. I got caught with like an ounce of dope or whatever, and I caught possession for sales, and I went into prison in Nevada. And so in Nevada, I was on a medium security yard, and a riot jumped off with the Muslims. And the Muslims, so the Muslims were walking around the track, and we were walking this way. We knew there was tension, and we were going to meet in the middle. And when we met, it just went down, boom, it jumped off. And I did it again. I stuck somebody in the volleyball court. We were in the volleyball court fighting in the sand, and I stuck somebody again. And when I stuck him, I ended up scratching a line in the sand and dropping it down into that slot and covering it up with sand. And they didn't catch the knife. They sent everybody to lockdown. They even sent me. Oh no, they didn't send me to lockdown. They sent everyone to lockdown. I got to the unit, and after we came off lockdown, they came up to my unit like 6 deep, bracing me, about what happened and shit. But basically, they didn't move on me right there. But about 5 days later, I get my fucking transfer bag, and it's for Ely State Penitentiary. That's a supermax fucking prison. That put a little bit of fear in my heart. That place is real, Chad. Like, that place is no joke. So I landed in Ely. And when I got to Ely, I don't have a lot of time left on my sentence because they didn't catch me with the knife. They didn't know they knew I stuck him, but they didn't catch me with the knife. So I don't have a lot of time left in the prison. And that prison is AW. I don't know if you heard of them, the Aryan Warriors. That's who's got that yard. And it's a fucking hands-off prison, fucking sticking only. That place is fucking crazy. So I knew one of the leaders, Fried Frey, was the leader of Aryan Warriors, and he told me, he's like, "Look, Spider Man, I'll take care of your work that has to be done with a knife, so you could go home and shit, and you just tattoo some of my brothers and shit, and you help us make knives and shit and hold them." And I was like, that sounds fair to me. So that's basically what I did. I tattooed a little bit. I had a lot of respect. They love the tattoo artists. So I'm fucking tattooing on them, and I'm just trying to get through this fucking prison sentence and get out alive, because that place was like a very dangerous fucking, hands-off prison.
Let me ask you this. So the Aryan Warriors got you holding down the knives. Were you ever worried about getting caught with them knives and catching a new case?
Even worse than that, I was worried about one of them sticking me with them, because like I would be having tension with my cellie sometimes. I make knives, hold them in my fucking, in my mattress. And there was times where I was falling out with my cellies, and I knew they had the knives, and I knew I had the knives, and it was nerve-wracking holding those knives. But at the same time, they told me if anything happens and it comes up where sticking has to happen, they'll have one of their brothers do it for me. So I felt like I needed to do that so that I didn't catch any extra time and shit.
How much time did you have in Nevada?
I only did like 5 years there.
You say that nonchalantly. I only did 5 years. But 5 years is a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But it goes fast, though.
I'm gonna call this how I see it, all right, Spider? I see you're all jittery, you're bouncing around. Do you think prison affected you?
Yeah, bro. I'm really messed up to this day. Like, I'm having trouble out here. I'm clean and sober. I got a job, but I'm all alone. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know how to work phones. I don't like to go into anybody. I don't like to be around very many people. I just live in my RV. I don't have no friends. I'm all alone, and I just stay a loner because I don't fit in. I don't feel comfortable. I can't really, I haven't even been messing with chicks like for a long time. It's because I'm just like, I'm jittery. I just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel right in my skin out here. So yeah, prison really messed me up.
How long have you been out of prison?
I've been out for 3 years, but like, it's not getting any better.
Hold on, man. You might need some help. I might have to talk you off the show, right? And we'll get into that before when we end this. But you've been home 3 years, so you're obviously doing okay. You're doing better than you were, right? You're not working in the kitchen. You're not carrying a knife for other people. You're not stabbing no one. You're not taking a chance with your life. So you're doing better than you were. Maybe you're not exactly where you need to be, but it's a work in progress, man. It doesn't always happen like that. But we're going to talk a little bit more now. You leave Nevada State Prison. How old are you about, if you remember?
I'm 27 when I get out of there.
27 when you leave Nevada. Where do you go?
I decided I wanted to get into this tough man competition. I decided I wanted to fight in the tough man competition here in Oregon. So I lived in Nevada, but my family member lived in Oregon, and I went to fight in the tough man competition. Didn't do so good, got knocked out, to be honest with you. But yeah, the
Hold on, man,
dude
'cause
who
some
knocked,
people, hold on now. Some people are watching this show. We're gonna say you look like a little fella, right? They might say
yeah,
you're too light to fight, too thin to win. But you went out there and you're keeping it. I'm joking with you, man. I want to make you smile. But you went
yeah,
out there, and you know, most people aren't going to come on here and be like, yo, man, dude, knock me out. So
yeah.
you're fighting a dude. How long did you last?
Man, I mean, I made it all the way through the fight. He knocked me out like 5 times in the same match. But at the end they were like, man, this guy had too much heart to know, dude, to fucking stay down.
So he
But
didn't
yeah,
knock you out, but he kept knocking you down.
no, he was knocking me out, bro. And they would count me at 7, 8 seconds, and then I just had too much heart. I wouldn't stop. And he was the one that won the whole competition. So at least I got that to say. Like, he was a tough motherfucker, bro. But so yeah, I lost that. But I started smoking dope. I was doing, bro, I did a parachute before the fight. I like dope. I did fucking like a parachute with dope, and they told me that was a good idea. It was a badass idea. It was shaky, and it was just a bad idea. But I ended up staying up in this area. Once I got up here, I ended up doing burglaries with my brother. We were doing burglaries, and we ran in. We were doing burglary, and we pulled back this fucking door, and there was like a bunch of guns, like machine guns, like fully autos and shit. We ended up jacking all that, and we ended up getting caught on the scene. My brother got caught on the scene close to where it happened, but I got away. And I went into Washington and started doing more robberies and burglaries. My brother was locked up at that time for that, but I got away. And when I got caught for those burglaries and shit. And that's when I did the Oregon and Washington time. I went straight from Oregon straight over to Washington to finish out my sentences.
So how much time were you sentenced to for that stuff?
Like 10 years. Like, it was 2 burglaries, and then I had to do the remainder of the sentences that I owed in Washington, which was like 5 years. So yeah, like 14 years total.
14 years total. So now
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about this. You're in Oregon State Prison, right?
Yeah.
Is this where you hook up, you get tipped up with the Aryan family, or where's that start at?
No, I actually tipped up in Washington. I did my Oregon time, stayed independent there. And ended up, when I got into Washington, that's where I ended up tipping up.
What is the process when you're tipping up for the Aryan family?
Well, it's blood in. Like, it's you gotta stick somebody to get in and stuff. So I had to go run off on somebody with a piece of fence and fucking poke him up. And I got my shield. That's my shield right there. That's how I ended up getting that. And all of us had to do it, to get on. We gotta stick somebody.
Let me ask you this, right? You show the shield. You're like, look, man, this is my shield right here. I want you to see it. But really, man, a lot of dudes in prison are like, damn, man, I got a patch, homie. I'm down. But really, man, it's just some ink for doing something that, in a lot of cases, for nothing, man. The kid that you stick up, did you even know him?
No. Nope.
He never done nothing to you before, ever in life, right?
Nothing to me.
So you just go up and you stab this kid. In your mind, are you thinking like, damn, this shit's wrong, man? Like, I'm about to stab someone that's never done nothing wrong to me just so I can get this little patch on my arm?
No, I didn't think nothing of it, bro. Like, at the time, I just wanted to be known as, somebody to not fuck with, somebody to respect, and that's why I did it.
I want people to understand that, right? Because, when we talk about prison, there's some dangerous places. Alabama's dangerous. Georgia's extremely dangerous. Florida prisons are dangerous depending on where you're at. Federal prisons are dangerous depending on where you're at. But they're dangerous because, honestly, bro, guys like you used to be. Where a guy's like, man, I'm going to stab this dude just so I can get this patch, and I'm going to be down with these dudes, man. So we're out here brutalizing each other, but never keeping our eyes on the mission. And the mission really is, the way that we're being treated in prison by the staff members, by the administration, by the government, where we're taking 17, 18-year-old kids and we're sending them to prison for 30, 40 years for nonviolent drug offenses. And I think that we should come together, man, to try to stop that type of shit instead of running around stabbing and killing each other. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that 100%, bro.
Now that you lived that life, right? I mean, did you ever end up having any rank in that gang, or were you just the guy that held the knives?
No. I had really good, I had a good position in that car. There's been times where I've had the keys of the yard and shit. So yeah, I've had some, pretty good rank there.
Tell me about that, man, because I want to know what it's like then. If you got the keys to the car, right? People want to hear this. So that's quote unquote, you're the shot caller at times, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes you have to, I used to tell people, man, show me your leader and I'll tell you about your people, right? So when
Yeah.
they look at you, what type of leader were you, man? Were you a guy that would send people on dummy missions? Were you a guy that thought about your men before you sent them out to war?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wasn't somebody who just wanted to send people out on a careless mission and shit. You know, I made decisions based on what had to be done on the yard for things to continue to flow smoothly. I wasn't one of those people who just wanted to put knives in people's hands and just run them off on a mission. If I sent somebody on a mission, it was because it was for the betterment of the yard and for our car. You know what I mean?
When you say the betterment of the yard in your car, what would a stabbing violation be? Like, yo, dude, you got to stick this dude. Like the dude you stuck. What did he do?
Um, well, uh, he was a rapo. So, that all rapos must go as soon as they hit the yard, as soon as we find out they were, and I was fortunate that there was one on the yard because I would have hate to have had to stick somebody who didn't have an offense like that. But yeah, I was lucky that I got to stick somebody that had a charge like that.
White dude?
Yeah, white dude.
Older dude? Younger dude?
He was younger.
Let me ask you this. Did you look at his paperwork first to see like what the circumstances were? Was he really a rapist? Was he 18 and the chick was 17? Did you look at any of that stuff?
No, because you know what, bro? Nobody gets to sell their story. Like, I mean, obviously somebody has. I was at the time when I had to do it, I was a youngster and I was just handed it and told to do it. But after I got some rank and I had some kind of, pull on the yard, I still didn't let nobody tell their story. If you have a sex charge, I can't give you no leeway to read your story if it's a stat beef or not, because every single fucking rapo has that same story. You know what I mean? So like, if you have the charge, you're gone. There's no arguments about it. There's no story. You can't tell your story. It's just, you're over.
No, I mean, this is prison. This is the real prison life. This is how prison works. And I'm not trying to harp on you, man. I'm asking you some tough questions. But that's because the viewers want to know how this stuff really works. There might be a guy that's watching this that might have had a charge like that, or he might have a charge like that, and he's getting ready to go to prison, and he wants to know how it really works. So in Washington, Oregon, even in the feds, maximum security prisons, you don't get a chance to tell your story. Your story's already been told, right?
Yes, your story's told. As soon as you walk in with that charge, even if it's a stat beef, you got to get taken out off the yard.
You say stat beef, that's a statutory.
Yeah.
Okay. I want people to know that because some people might not know. What does that mean? So I wanted to clarify that. So now, how old are you when you finally get out of prison, when this is all done and over with?
46. 45. 44. Yeah, 44. I get out.
You get out of, damn, how old are you?
I'm 46.
Dude, you don't even look like you're 46.
Thanks, bro. Prison preserves motherfuckers. You know that. You see people that done a lot of time in prison and they look young because we're indoors, we're eating right, like we're not smoking cigarettes too much. It kind of preserves our youth.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking at you and thinking in my head you were like 33, 34. I know you said you've been home 3 years. You're 46 now. You got out at 44, so you might be getting ready to turn 47 maybe?
Yep. That's right.
So now let's talk about the life that you're living now. I know you talked about your RV. I know you're living, I think you're living by your mother, right?
Yeah, on our property.
So let me ask you this. What did your mom do for a living, man?
She's a pet groomer.
She's a pet groomer. Was she disappointed in the life that you and your brother were living?
Yeah, absolutely. We were like really selfish and, all she wanted to do is have her children with her. She's all about her boys. And, all we did is just ran amok and we would come home, stay home for 3 months at a time and then shoot back out to the streets. But there's 4 of us. And we were all trouble, bro. We're all slung back. We've all done time. And, she's spent a lot of her time in the visiting room. But like my mom is the one that is kept me out here in the streets. If it wasn't for her, guiding me, keeping me in control, stuff like that, I wouldn't I wouldn't have made it out here, bro. I was really screwed up when I came out of prison. And I wanted to tell you something about a medication I was taking and about a solitary confinement I did right before I got out that really kind of messed me up. I got something I want to explain about that.
Explain it. You got
okay, so I was taking this medication. I got a year in the hole for knocking this dude out on the tier. I ended up fighting this dude, and they gave me a year.
Spider, hold on now, because the people are watching the show, and I'm not trying to belittle you or nothing, but they're gonna be like, "Damn, this dude's in prison knocking all these dudes out," but at that tough man contest, it didn't work out. But I'm just messing with you, man. Go ahead, tell your story.
No, so I ended up fucking fighting this dude, and I got a year in the hole for it. And I was taking this medication called Risperidol, right? I don't know what it is. It's an antipsychotic. I just wanted to sleep, and I was having trouble. They had no TVs, no books, nothing, bro. And I was starting to lose it. So I went to mental health, and I told them I need to get on medication for sleeping. Well, they put me on this medication called Risperidol. When I got out of prison, I stopped taking this medication. I was 240, bro, 240 gunned in. And when I stopped taking this medication, I fucking lost 80 pounds. I lost all desire for food. Like, food smells like plastic. It tastes like plastic. I have no desire to eat food. I got skinny. Like I don't know what it is. As soon as I stopped taking this medication, bro, I don't like food anymore. It just has nothing. I lost all this weight. My metabolism races. And I just wanted to like let people know that, don't take this medication called Risperidol, because it really messed up my life. I can't even enjoy food. That was my favorite thing in life. And now I can't gain weight, and I can't really eat food anymore. I can't enjoy food. That was from taking that antipsychotic called Risperidol. Bad news, bro.
I know what it is. I think John Powers was on that stuff when I was with him in another prison. He did 15 years in the ADX. But yeah, I do. I believe that the mental health medication that they give people, I feel like it's an experiment, dude. I've seen that trazodone, all that shit just destroy people, man. I've seen dudes taking the pills. All they do is eat and sleep, and they get like this. And you sent me some pictures, and you look a little different in the pictures compared to how you look now, right?
Yeah, I was swole. I can't gain weight. I ate everything I can possibly eat. My metabolism just races. I know it has something to do with that medication, because as soon as I stopped taking that medication, I was sick from it. For like 2 months, I was like deathly sick feeling. And then when I wasn't sick no more, I still can't, like, all food tastes like plastic, smells like plastic, and it just, nothing is good to me anymore.
I had dudes on the show before where people would comment and say, "Oh man, that dude's high. Look how he's moving." You're moving around a lot, man. Are you really sober?
I'm absolutely sober, bro. This is just me. I mean, I'm just like, I got a lot of nervous energy and stuff.
It's cool, but I want to ask you this too. You know what I mean? You're moving around, whatever. But how did you conquer the addiction, man? How did you finally say, "Yo, I don't want to get high. I want to be normal"? What happened? Was there something in your mind where you just said, "Man, I'm doing it"?
It wasn't a quick road to this. Like, when I first got out, I there's probably like 5 or 6 times I started using again, and my mom just shut it down. She wasn't having that shit. She was very aware of it. She knows me like the back of her hand, and she took an active role in helping me get off the 4 or 5 times I started using. So here's what happened. I was in Portland. I got a brand new Chrysler 300. It was sick. It was on 24s, all black tin windows. It was badass. And I was driving through there, and somebody shot at me and shot at my car like 15 times with a 40 cal. And my whole car got destroyed by that. And then I got back, and that even wasn't enough for me to stop. But I have a Harley too. And so after my car was destroyed from the shots, I started driving my Harley, and every time a car would get close to me, I would accelerate away from it because I was scared. I was nervous. I thought somebody was out for me. Well, I accelerated super hard away from a car that was coming for me, and I crashed right into the side door of another car, and I flipped over it, and I broke my whole leg, and they had to give me a rod. I had a rod in my leg, and I had all kinds of messed up. I was injured bad, and it took me I was using heroin and stuff at that time, and so I got off heroin, and that was the game changer, bro. From that moment on, I've been clean. That was like, I don't know, maybe 10 months ago that I got off drugs. So I've been clean for 10 months, and I just had to have a life-changing experience where I something let me know that I had to stop.
How does it feel to be sober, man?
I mean, it feels great. It feels fine. And I've got a good job doing HVAC, and I make really good money doing it. It feels great to be sober. Other than the fact that I still don't have no friends, I don't have no life. I just sit in my RV and just all by myself with my pit bull. I just have a social problem. I don't feel comfortable going out around people. Like when a crowd of when I'm around over 10 people, I feel nervous and I feel like it's gonna jump off. And yeah, prison had a really bad effect on me, and it's gonna be more years until I get a grip on this. You know what I mean?
You got to start out slow, man. I had issues when I got out, but you got to do small things, right? Go to a corner store. Start small. Then you can, progress. Go to a Walmart. Then go to the mall and walk around. But you do have to have some social integration, man. I'm sure you like to meet a nice chick and maybe,
Yeah.
have a relationship, because those things are important. All the time that you were in prison, were you ever thinking like, damn, I'm going to get out of here and get a chick and be normal? Were you thinking that stuff?
Absolutely. I thought it was gonna work like that, but it's been 3 years, bro. Like it's not getting better.
Hold on, man, because it is going to get better. You already
All right.
told us, you told the viewers, you told me that you had the heart of a lion, right? The kid knocked you down, you kept getting up. You had that heart where you said, man, I'm determined, man, I'm not stopping. So you have to be determined to say, you know what, I'm going to go out and do this, man. I'm not going to let my fears hold me back from meeting a woman. I'm not going to let my fears hold me back from going into a restaurant. I'm not going to let my fears stop me from doing positive things. I'm not going to let my fears make me go back to, hey, I'm going to get high because that's the only time I feel okay. You have to have that same heart of a lion, that same desire for the good things in life, man. You have to get out of there. You can't be a hermit. You've been in some of the most dangerous places in the country, and you made it.
Yeah.
You can definitely make it out here.
Yeah. It seems that way. It seems like I hope it could be that way, but I just got to put myself out of my comfort zone more often. That's what the problem is I'm not challenging myself in these areas with my comfort zone.
You have to believe in yourself, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to know that you're better than your situation, man. You got to get yourself out of there, man. You can't be in there. You can't work all the time, then be back in that RV just sitting around like watching YouTube prison videos. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to
That's
start
all
going
I
out.
watch. Huh?
To believe in yourself, you have to start going. Maybe it's church. Maybe you got to show up at a church. They might look at you like, damn, who's this dude? But that don't matter, man.
You know what? That's funny you said that, because I did start going to church and I do believe in God and I do, want to go down that road. But as soon as I get into church, everyone's looking at me and I know their best intentions are for me, but like I just feel so awkward. I just like wish I had somebody else I was going with that would just talk to me and make it easier for me. But I went all by myself. I went 3 weeks in a row, maybe 4 weeks in a row. And I felt like a fish out of water there too, bro.
You know what, man? I had a dude on, right, that was from Cali. He was a good friend of mine. He was an NLR dude. I don't know if you've seen the videos. He ended up dying on his Jimmy Mack. He ended up dying on his skateboard.
Jimmy.
So Jimmy was in the same, similar position.
He was in Oregon, bro. He was in Oregon prison.
Yeah, he's been in a couple different prisons. Federal prison, Oregon, California.
I know of him. Yeah, I know of him.
Let me tell you this, right? He was a little bit messed up, but I think when you talk about that church, you maybe you need to call the pastor and say, hey, dude, I came there 3-4 weeks. I feel a little uncomfortable. I need someone to talk to, to kind of like a little buddy system. And maybe that's the start of your new life. Maybe that's something that you need to do.
Yeah, I definitely, I feel a calling for that area. I also feel a calling for, helping the youth. I feel a little uncomfortable and I just need to get out there and start figuring out how to do that. I don't know how to make steps towards the goals I want to do. Like I really want to start a YouTube channel and start trying to make content and in an attempt to help the youth too, because I don't want to see all these kids that are making the wrong choices go down these roads where I could possibly help them not make these decisions. You know what I mean? I need the right push to figure this stuff.
Listen to me. You've been through a lot, man. You got a story to tell, and people want to hear it, man. And if that's the road that you go, then you should do that. If that's what your heart's telling you, do it. Do it. Start getting involved in things in your community.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about this, right? Because some people will watch the video and they'll say, damn, man, because I'm telling you what I'm seeing, right? I see a man that went to prison as a boy, right? Sometimes we grow physically, but we don't grow mentally. Do you feel like prison held you back a little bit where you grew physically, but not all the way mentally, where you were still at a young age?
Yep. I honestly, I feel like I'm probably like a 25-year-old in my mentality. And, I don't feel like I relate to other 46-year-olds. I just feel like I'm fucking younger because I missed so much life. I missed probably 23 years of life that people had out here that I didn't get to experience.
I can relate to that, man, because I went to prison when I was 24, right?
Yeah.
I'm out, dude. I can bench 225, 19, 20 times without even warming up. I still play basketball the same way. I still feel like I'm young.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there were times when I was mentally young in prison, but I also feel like I eventually grew up mentally as well as physically. That doesn't happen for everybody. I'm sure, in prison, people that are watching the show that never been there or guys that have, they've seen that all the time where you're like, damn, man, this dude's 40 years old, man, acting like that, like a 20-year-old, screaming in front of the TV, arguing with dudes about, this singer and that singer. So a lot of people don't grow up mentally, man. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this, because it's obvious that it affected you. What's some of the worst things you ever seen in prison, man?
Um, I've seen murders, bro. Like, I could tell you a story about when I was in Ely State Prison. I was on a death row overflow unit, so basically it was death row's hole. And when they have extra rooms, they take general population people and put them in the hole too. So I was in death row hole, and they got this clique called Mexican Raza United. So they're called MRUs. Well, they let this fool that was on HRP. HRP is high risk prisoner, and they transport them. They walk them backwards with a helmet on them. They got fucking padding for all their clothes, and they're walking backwards, and there are like 10 guards around them. Well, this fool got off of he got off of HRP, and he went across the way to the death row mainline unit. They let them fools walk, 20, 30 people on the tier all at once. He got off HRP and he went over to the other unit, and he knew me. And so he went over to the other unit, and I heard all the walkie talkies. I didn't see this up close and personal. I did see it through the glass though. And on the other unit, something's jumping off. Everyone's getting all fucking movements all fast. All the guards go over there. Well, this fool comes about 15 minutes later. He comes walking through the fucking thing, escorted by like 15 guards. He's covered from blood to toe. And he's like, I just killed that motherfucker. They let me off HRP and I killed that motherfucker. He went over there and killed a Norteño, bro, dead, and was come back on the tier fucking telling us all about it, bragging about it. And you can see the ambulances and the stretcher and everything. That dude fucking died that day. I saw that. That was pretty, crazy that he didn't even care, bro. He just thought it was really cool that he did that. He was already on death row though.
So, a lot of times people are desensitized to violence when they spend all this time in prison and they see things like that, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any compassion in your heart? Do you feel bad about the things that you've done in the past?
Yeah, I do. I do feel bad about it, but it was a survival thing for me. I don't feel bad in the sense that I knew I was just trying to survive. I was trying to make it through this as easily as possible, and I felt like the things that I had to do were things that if I didn't do, I would have just been chewed up and spit out in the system. So I do have remorse about some of the stuff I did, but at the same time, I didn't really hurt nobody that bad. You know what I mean? I've stuck people, it goes in a little bit, but like I didn't hurt nobody to the point where they're changed for life. You know what I mean? Other than maybe mentally like scarred.
So, in a normal society, right, people will say, oh, he didn't hurt him too bad. He just stuck him with a little knife. And they think that, dude, that's outrageous. That you think just stabbing someone just a little bit, it ain't that bad. And, in the prison world, that's normal to think, oh, yeah, it wasn't that bad. But really, man, normal people aren't out at Walmart just stabbing people just a little bit. You know what I mean?
No, I know we're not normal. This is not a normal life that we live, and it's different in there. You become, you know, you gain stature by the violence that you do, and if you don't gain stature, you don't have action at everything that's on the yard, like all the money and all the hustle. You need to have this stature to have the hustle, and if you don't have the hustle, you don't have the money. You're not eating. So it's a different life in there. It's hard to explain to people that haven't been there.
Dog eat dog world. It's a place where killers get killed, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So now that you're home, you're free, you put all this stuff behind you, right? Are you done with the Aryan family?
I'm not going to say that, because if I did go back in, I don't foresee ever going back. Every once in a while, I go to the bar, I tip back a couple of drinks. If I was driving back home and maybe I hit somebody in my car, that's the only thing I could ever see myself going back to prison for. But if I went back to prison, I would probably tip back up. But other than that, yes, I am so done with that lifestyle, brother. I don't even want to think, that I would ever live that life again. But if I did, I would tip back up.
You tip back up because it's a dog eat dog world, and that's what you would have to do to survive, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Ever feel in prison, man, like you're living a life that you really don't want to live, like you're doing things like, man, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to stab this dude, but I have to.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like 80% of the people that are doing this stuff doesn't really want to be doing it. It's not, it goes against nature to be sticking people, It's just, it just is what it is. And there's really no other way to explain it.
Definitely not a normal life, so to speak.
No, it's not normal.
When you were in prison doing all that time, you were a young man. You started out young. What did you miss most? Because at 16, you really didn't experience life. From 16 to 21, you were sitting in prison, the best years of your life. The years you were supposed to be in high school, meeting chicks, going to the prom, playing football. All those things were gone, forever lost. You can never get them things back. What did you used to miss the most?
Probably like, going to a high school prom, graduating a high school, riding dirt bikes as a juvenile, that's exciting stuff for, a kid, stuff like that. I never really got to experience. I missed out on everything, camping. I missed out on all that stuff that people talk about all the time when they were younger. Those are the things that I missed out by going to youth authority.
And now that you've been free for 3 years, right? What do you appreciate most? Because you say, I'll never go back to jail. There has to be a motivating factor to make you say that. What is it that you appreciate that's going to keep you from going back to prison?
I just appreciate, the freedom to make the decisions and choices that I want to make, not that somebody else wants me to make. I want to be able to make decisions and choices that I want to make because I wanted it, not because it was the best thing for the yard or the best thing for prison. I don't know. That's about it, really.
That's fine. That's kind of what the message is going to be today, right?
Yeah.
That, usually I say, hey, man, what message do you got for kids? And I think that's kind of what your message is that, I appreciate being able to make my own decisions. Like, I don't need another man making me get butt ass naked so mad I want to pluck a chicken with my teeth. I don't have to have another man tell me I can't have nothing to eat. If I want to get something to eat, I can go in the refrigerator and get something to eat. Prison is a lonely place. No matter what people think, some people glorify prison. A lot of people try to glorify it, the war stories and, I did this and I did that. But really, deep in your heart, man, when you live that life for real and you lived it continuously, that isn't the stuff that matters. You don't want to live that life. You don't want to be like, hey, yeah, man, because we know, man, the pain that comes with that. We know what it's like to miss a birthday and then another one and then another one and then a Christmas, 10, 15, 20 Christmases in a row. We know what that feels like because we've done a lot of time.
Yeah.
So I think that's the message, man, is to appreciate your freedom. Appreciate the fact that you can be your own decision maker. You're the driver of your own car, the author of your own story. But once you go to prison, the book is closed. The car keys are taken away. Now there's someone else controlling your life. But before we go, because you said you wanted to talk to the youth, I am going to give you the opportunity. And I want you to tell, a kid that's on the wrong path, like you once were. What message would you give to them? What message would you give to your younger self?
I mean, just don't be influenced by other people. Make your own decisions. Be smart. Know that, the things and decisions that you make can affect your future for a long time to come. Like, you start getting a record, you get a felony under your belt, you're never going to be able to get the same kind of jobs and desires that you want to do. You just gotta be smarter than that. And you gotta not be influenced by people who are, on the wrong track in life. And, if you go to prison, it is not a fun place to be. I can tell you right now, look at me. I'm skinny as hell. I don't want to be skinny. I'm fucking stuck out here in life, not knowing what to do. I'm stuck in my RV. Dude, these are mental health issues that I've developed from all this prison time. And I don't know how many years it's going to be until these mental health issues go away. And I don't know if they're ever going to go away. So just think about that before you start doing things that could possibly get you in prison.
Well, listen, man, we're gonna talk off camera. I'm gonna see what I can do to help you, because I want to see you succeed, man. I don't want to see you ever go back to prison. Even though in your
Yeah.
mind you say I'm never going back, you do need some social integration. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm just gonna
Right
tell
on.
people, man. I'm gonna tell you, Spider. I appreciate you coming on, man. Your story's real. It's raw, man. This
Yeah.
is how prison affects people.
Yeah.
I want people to hit that like button, hit that share button. Make sure they leave a comment. If people get on there and comment, bro, if you can figure it out, respond to their comments, man. People might have questions to ask you. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell people, man, go ahead, man, hit that subscribe button, leave that comment. Blood on the Razor Wire TV with respect. Until tomorrow, we're out of here.